Hello, everybody, and welcome to Guido and Me Live, home for Christmas. This is the interviews. I'm Emily Menz. With a little help from our friends, our wish is to spread hope, joy, and peace this Christmas season, hoping to give the holidays back to us from a year that feels like so much has been taken away. I've got a special guest with me here. This is my dear friend, Miss Cat Jacoby. Welcome, Cat.
Thank you, Emily. It's awesome to be here with you in our Christmas clothes.
I love those earrings. Those are very, very, very sparkly.
That's not all. They're also.
Let me see. Wow.
They have different settings on them too. I think I got them for like $2. It was honestly the best investment ever. So they're probably a little distracting, like they kind of upstage me. So I'll just turn them off for now. I'm glad that you know they can do that.
I think those are quite something.
They are.
So like if you get an avalanche, you just turn those on.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking.
If Rudolph has an issue, he knows who to call.
Exactly. I'm like
exactly.
That's so smart. It's survival and fashion.
So before we dive in, we need to, with every one of the interviews that we do, we have a drawing. So in order to get your name into that drawing to win a super fun Holly Jolly prize, the thing you need to do is you need to like these interviews. You need to like this interview. You need to share it to your own page. And then you need to comment below telling us with this interview, your favorite movie. So you need to let us know your favorite Christmas movie, movie. Then your name gets into a drawing. And then tomorrow, around the next time of the next interview that we're doing, we're going to pick a name, and then you're going to know who wins this super fun Holly Jolly prize.
Yay!
Are you jealous?
I am jealous because I was told I can't enter.
No,
what is your favorite Christmas? What is your favorite Christmas movie, Emily?
I'm a sucker for The Christmas Story.
Okay.
Big, huge sucker for The Christmas Story.
That's a really good one. I like It's a Wonderful Life. Tugs at my heartstrings.
Yeah. Is that the one where the angel gets its wings?
Yes. Jimmy Stewart.
Oh, you gotta love
him. Anyway, yeah, I am bummed that I can't enter, but that's okay.
But because you're still involved, you still get your Guido and Me beanie.
Yay! That's so cute.
So you got to sport the snot out of this one.
I love that. I wear beanies all the time.
It is so awesome. I just loved it. Cute. It says, I jammed with Guido and Me, and it has established 2015, which was when John and I got married. I know, super cute. And you get to wear it on your head. You get to advertise me. I know, I love it.
I'm happy to do it.
I know, you should. You should be. You should be so lucky. All right, so now we need to do a little North Pole testing. This is to prove that you are not a cotton-headed ninny muggins. This is very important, vital to your survival through the holidays. We need to know whether or not you have Christmas spirit.
Okay.
Because being that I just currently found out that you are currently not engaged, and I'm thinking you're engaged, because on Facebook I'm seeing these things that look like engagement photos.
I have a fake engagement photo as my profile picture, but it was for my friend's photography business. But I'm hoping that I will be on the.
Well, I just have to have a little conversation with said gentleman.
All right.
This is the conversation. Do you see it?
That's all right. Moving on.
Moving on. So the North Pole test, we start with, what is your favorite Christmas cookie?
Ooh, peanut butter blossoms.
What is that?
That's like the peanut butter cookie with the chocolate kiss in the middle. I think those are
my gosh. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
I have done a couple of interviews and no one can remember what the name of the ding dong cookie is.
Yeah.
Like it's the peanut butter with the thing.
Glad I'm all about education in so many ways, and I'm educating about the cookies.
Well, yeah, smarty pants. Okay, so what is your favorite Christmas carol or song?
So my favorite Christmas song, I realized this a couple years ago, is got to be "Oh Holy Night." That one's my favorite. especially like Fall on Your Knees. That always really gets me emotionally too.
Do you like it when you're like singing it in church, or do you have to like hear some soprano knocking it out?
So you know what? I'm such a sucker
Coming
for like,
from an alto, I just want you to
I'm an
know I'm
alto
asking you that
too.
question from
I
an
get it.
alto. Do you have to have a soprano?
No.
I'm setting you up here.
I don't
I'm
need a
throwing you a
soprano.
bone. You don't need
However,
a soprano.
no, I'm not a soprano either. However, I am a huge sucker for Celtic Christmas music. And so a lot of times I will find like Oh Holy Night, the Celtic Christmas version, and that's just transportive to me, transportative. Anyway, it's very moving.
Transportation.
Transports me to a Christmassy place.
A Christmassy place.
That's
real, tree, or fake?
Real. Even though this one's totally fake. But
yeah, it looks it because if it was real, I'd be even sadder than I am right now looking at it.
Like,
okay, it's ho ho ho. So favorite reindeer would be what?
I mean, oh man, I feel like is obvious. There's an obvious answer there, but I'm gonna go with Comet, who has a starring role in the Santa Claus movie and has a lot of he's got a lot of attitude. And so
he eats way too much.
He does.
Yeah,
he is. But he does.
Do you know the other reindeer? Do you know the other reindeer who used to laugh and call him names?
Which one?
Do you know the other reindeer?
Oh, do I know it? Is this part of my test?
Who are the other reindeer?
The other reindeer. I don't know the specific one.
There's a song that helps.
They never the forward of time.
No, not that song.
Oh.
You know.
Santa's reindeer.
Nope, that's an epic fail. We're moving on. No.
I was doing so well. Comet, one of the ones who was a bully? Comet was a bully?
No.
Oh, good.
No.
Is it Cupid?
He had gas issues, Comet did.
Yeah,
white lights or color?
Like a warm, I really am a fan of the warm white light. Not the LED.
What is your favorite side dish that absolutely has to be there at Christmas? Like you go, Mom, if it's not there, I'm not coming.
I'm not coming. I refuse. For Christmas, it's got to be either like a potato dish, or I really love green bean almondine, which is just green beans sauteed with butter and then almond, and then sliced almonds with that with salt and pepper, and that's it.
That is nummy too.
Amazing.
Favorite dessert?
Oh, Christmas dessert or in general?
Christmas dessert. What am I going to ask you? Your favorite dessert on the 4th of July? How are you feeling around Valentine's Day?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Tell me your favorite St. Patty's dish.
True. Yeah, St. Patrick's Day. Christmas. You know what? I have to go with rice pudding because it's a tradition in my family. Yeah, every year we actually do, my mom will make a big thing of homemade rice pudding, and then we'll put an almond in it. And then, so, we all go through, you can't like dig around for the almond, but whoever gets the almond gets a year of good luck. So I don't know who got it last year, but 2020 sure was interesting. And I'm like, are you sure you got the almond? Or maybe we forgot to put it in. I don't know. Because we all collectively, I don't know if we all had the luck.
Yes, no one got that almond.
No one got that almond.
No one. I think even though massive destruction during the reindeer, I think you have passed the test.
Yeah.
And you.
At least a B.
Well, I'll give you an A-.
Oh, you're sweet.
Because you have that really fabulous Christmas tree representing you behind.
Thank you.
Yes, it's lovely. Very lovely.
And I have
okay, so this is where? Oh, on you.
So
yes, that is quite a shout out. That is quite a sweater. Okay, so here's a reminder. reminder to all the folks out there, if you are watching us, and I want you to like this interview, share it to your pages and comment below with your favorite Christmas
movie.
Yep. Favorite Christmas movie, and then your name gets in a drawing, and then you tomorrow will find out if you're the one who wins a super fun Holly Jolly prize. I know. So fun.
Awesome.
All right, now we need to move on to why. Why in the world do I have Miss Cat Jacoby here? Is it because she's going to come and do an interpretive dance for us at the house? Could it be because she's coming to whistle or potentially sing? Could it be because she's going to come play the harmonica or the triangle during one of the songs?
Right.
No, it is none of those things. Sadly, maybe another day.
Yeah.
The reason I have Cat with us here today is she is one of the main spokesmen for an organization in this area where I live in Wisconsin called Fierce Freedom. Now, I became associated with her and came to know her. We worked, there was a women's gathering that we had. It was like a women's conference.
Yes.
And she was one of the speakers that came and was letting people know about what Fierce Freedom was. And I met her, and I met her once, and I was like, okay, first of all, I need to know you, because she's lippy. She's lippy.
A little bit.
She's funny, and every time we talk, it's like it's like hours can go by. So I think she's an unbelievable advocate. She's very intelligent. Wicked intelligent, great ideas. Kind, very generous person. Very informative, which she doesn't cut corners when it comes to giving you the information about what is actually going on out in the world that we're living in. But she wants to make sure that she tells you ways to express how to be human within it, and to be able to express your compassion towards it, give towards it, be able to advocate as well, not just scare you and then make you run home, freaking out and unplugging everything from the walls and, scared to death, because, Fierce Freedom, this is the organization. It works to educate and equip individuals, organizations, and communities the abolishment of human trafficking. And that's humongous. And that's like a big old paintbrush. And we're going to talk about a couple of different things, and I need to give, and I will be giving Kat handing her the mic in a second here. But this is an organization that I was not aware. And it wasn't that I shouldn't say I was not aware. I was happily ignorant. Like, of course, we're aware of these things. Of course, we know they're happening. Of course, we see it on the news. Of course, we get on our little Facebook things that someone's abducted from their home, or someone's missing, or teenagers are missing, or something's going on, or we hear these things that are happening, and we see these alerts, and we see these shows like on Netflix, The Social Dilemma, and we see all of these different things. And we're worried and concerned, and we see apps about how we're supposed to be, and we're nervous about our kids. And it's not that we're not stupid, but there's a part of us that where ignorance is really, although not true, it really is bliss, because we think it is, because the truth, once you know, now you know. Right. And you can't turn away from what that is. And you need to know. And then once you know, you want to know. And then as soon as you want to know, you really want others to know. That was one thing that I thought was very interesting. We were watching, there was that, like I mentioned on Netflix, there is a Social Dilemma thing that's just specifically talking about how you're, it's not to make you afraid of social media. It's just to make you educated on what social media is and how it's targeted and what algorithms are. But in that specifically, then because I had a bit of education, my ignorance went away, allowing me to go, I want someone to know. I wanted people to know. I
Mm.
wanted to throw that information out there, and I wanted to pay that information forward. And then I
Mhm.
forwarded that information, and so on and so on. And because now knew, my eyes were open to something, I wanted others to know. And this is where I want you to take this over here, Kat, because
Right.
I think this is something that you and I are partnering with this Guido and Me Christmas
Mhm.
thing, and also with what Fierce is doing,
Mhm.
is helping to open some eyes to a couple of
Right.
things, and then also giving us some empowerment to be able to to pay it forward and to be able to tell others. Why don't you take
Yeah.
it?
Right. Yeah. Well, I just want to say thank you, Emily, because I love this idea and I love this concept. And, I love even the title of this is like the privilege of giving, because, I'm not a survivor personally. I've not survived human trafficking. However, so there was a lot of feeling, at first, when I first started at Fierce Freedom about 3 years ago, I really thought, kind of who am I to be telling these stories? I don't have that personal experience. But I am somebody that has a heart for it. And as you said, once you really can't, it's very hard to look away, to look the other way.
Right,
And so
right.
what I've realized now is that I have this ability to advocate, and to share the knowledge that I have, and to share the experiences that I've had, and to represent these voices, in a way that hopefully will help people to understand how they can how they can feel empowered and have tools in their own toolbox, but also to just sort of reassess situations, and to they think they saw something, or they to just empower people so that they really know what they're seeing and what human trafficking really does look like. Because I think that there's sort of a lot of misconceptions of what it looks like, this picture that's been painted by Hollywood. So we have to change our perceptions so that they actually do match reality, because if we're so focused on what it looks like in this kind of aggrandized Hollywood version, we're going to miss what's happening right here. We're going to miss our kids
Right.
who are engaging with a predator online, who are being groomed sexually, and there's a nude image that's taken of them, and all of a sudden they're basically trapped. And that's actually what it does look like. It's estimated conservatively that there are about 40 million slaves today, which is actually more than when Lincoln was president. So it's not just something that was in our nation's history, it's actually alive and rampant. It's the fastest growing criminal enterprise on the planet. 80% of these slaves is estimated are actually female, and then so half are children. And I just want that to kind of sink in. Like half of these slaves today are children, and this is the need for labor, sex, or a combination of both is being fulfilled, by 40 million people, and that's again conservative estimate. And so I also want to kind of explain that this, like I said, it's not going to look like we always think with Hollywood painting it's an abduction. A lot of times, especially in the States, it's going to be this psychological coercion that has gone on. And the odds of escaping this kind of situation are 1 in 100. And there's really a reason that it's the fastest growing criminal enterprise, is because there are some estimates that say that one person or one slave can generate up to $500,000 every year for their trafficker. So $500,000 every year, for one pimp. And so this can actually be, they will likely have multiple people that are being controlled. So that's just a significant amount of money. And, I think it's second only to the drug trade. But if you think about it, you can sell a bag of drugs one time. It's likely that someone that is being trafficked will be raped around 6,000 times in their lifetime. And many of them actually don't really make it more than a few years in this life. The average amount of time that people can be in this life is about 7 years. And I think that's actually that's pretty liberal too, because many of them die from overdose, physical violence, or suicide because of their experiences. Many of them just don't want to live anymore. So that's the reality. And bringing it home to Wisconsin, because I think it's really easy to think, well, but that doesn't affect me, right? I'm from small town, or I'm not from a big city. Just in Wisconsin, where we're located, trafficking has actually been reported in every single Wisconsin county. and it takes place in hotels, across interstates, truck stops, or even, like I mentioned, you know, on the online presence, a child's bedroom, it could take place. And so we've actually worked with around 70 victims of trafficking since 2018, and they range from 4 years old to 60 years old. But a majority of them did enter the life is what they call it. They did enter it as children. So I want everyone to take that and sit with it like it is happening here. And so, and I want to share a story because it's really important that we're remembering that this is magnified by technology. And because of COVID, there's this intersection where kids are home, and I mean, kids and adults are home looking for love, looking for attention. And then, you know, it's very easy through apps and through different, you know, social media profiles to come in contact with a child. There was actually, so an example of the combination, sometimes it's a physical violence that is magnified by social media, or by technology. And there was actually a story of a 14-year-old from the Midwest, actually, and she was gang raped and physically abused for 12 hours. And this was captured on film. And when she convinced her captors to take her home and not to kill her, the horror was not over, because basically she had a link from Pornhub, which is a porn website, and it was sent to her. She was tagged in it. So this 14-year-old was tagged in several videos that showed her assault, and many of them happened when she was actually unconscious. And so here's what she said about that. She said, "My assault itself put me in a mental prison, but Pornhub gave me a life sentence. I was a cautionary tale that parents warn their kids to stay away from, lest they end up like me, as if I was a contagious disease. At worst, I was victim blamed for my own assault and called every degrading name you can think of." So, and it's important too to tie into pornography, because the US is actually one of the top consumers and producers of child pornography. 1 in 5 pornographic images is of a child. And so this appetite, as we are one of the top consumers, is being filled by our children in exchange for money or drugs. And like I said, you can sell a bag of drugs one time, you can sell a human being multiple times. So again, like I said, with the overlap or intersection of COVID, there are vulnerabilities. So we can talk about vulnerability like everybody has a vulnerability. Everybody has something that a trafficker is going to look at to target. So whether that is looking at, you know, I have no provision for my needs, I have nowhere to sleep for the night, I'm a homeless or runaway youth, like very vulnerable. But then you also have people that are, you know, looking for love, looking for attention, boredom, whatever that looks like. Kids are actually being groomed because of their devices. They're bored at home, and then they have access to apps that are actually designed for addiction. And so it feeds that need for connection. And there's, you know, apps that are that encourage them to be really sexual and to really show off their body. And again, you know, traffickers don't care about social distancing. They're not following those rules. They actually, the amount of child sexual abuse material from the same period last year has gone up 90% this year. There's so much more going on online than I think any of us are really aware of. And again, like, this is a perfect storm. This isn't to just totally, like you said, it's not just scaring people, but I really do want this to hit home. Like, you're not safe behind a screen. Just because you're not out on the street, you're definitely not safe, and your kids aren't safe. And you don't want to miss what's going on right at your home. And so, you know, this COVID and everything being online, it's the ideal scenario for a predator. And again, something that is a really easy way for them to gain control very quickly is to start a, you know, relationship, or to start grooming the child. And they'll get them to send maybe a nude photo, and they may pose as like a 15-year-old, right? Like, they think that this is someone that they're dating. They get that nude photo or that nude image. All of a sudden, it's kind of game over, and they say, well, now I'm going to post this to Facebook, or I'm going to send this to your parents, unless you you know, do whatever I want. There's that control and that manipulation. And this is something that's called sextortion. So much like the 14-year-old that we talked about, having all those images and those videos, it wasn't just that one time exploitation and assault and rape of her. She had to survive that, but she also had people, that video, those videos of her were downloaded hundreds of thousands of times, and they were not taken down until she pretended to be a lawyer, and like the porn site would not take them down. And so they were shared and downloaded. Like those videos are likely still out there. So again, it's just so important, like when pause before sending, when something's out there, it's out there forever. So something that I want to one of those tools that we really want to give to parents, with Fierce Freedom, a huge thing that we do is we educate. And so like what we're doing right now, but we really want, with COVID, we did produce some education videos, which you can check out on our website as well. But those were really to kind of help guide parents. But we realized that, we had really great feedback from that, because I think parents are feeling like overwhelmed by this. And it's like, what do I do next? This is a horrible problem. How do I protect my kids? And so something that we're actually launching in the coming year is called Fierce Parenting. And so we're taking all of our expertise and all of our research, and we're trying to boil it down into a weekly video series that you can actually subscribe to. So it's going to deliver, and it's 5 minutes or less. So it's a quick little bite in the week. So you can sit down with your cup of coffee and they'll be delivered to you. You pay monthly, or you can pay all at once, and you actually get a discount if you buy for the whole year. And so basically it's, delivering timely, pertinent information. We realize that parents don't have time to sit down and say, like, what apps are my kids using? How do I even talk to them about pornography? Those conversations are really tough. And so we really want to kind of come alongside you and to help you get there in a really, in a way that is going to feel organic to your family structure. It's not just going to be like, okay, I'll just read the script. It's going to be like, what would work with my child and what would work with my different age groups that I have. So again, so that will be linked below as well. So I really want parents to take advantage of that. If that's something where you're feeling like, I want to kind of level this up and I want to have those weekly videos and opportunities to learn and to grow, I would really suggest like taking advantage of that. We're working really hard so that that content feels very pertinent and that you can adapt that organically too. So just wanted to touch on some local impact and stories with our work. So something that I've really learned in my time with Fierce Freedom is that you have to kind of redefine success.
Okay.
So I think that it's really tempting to say the word rescue with victims. However, many of them are in these, like I said, psychological chains. There's a lot of, sometimes a trafficker, traffickers are very skilled at what they do. They are very invested in that person. Like I said, they can generate $500,000 a year, right? Or drugs or whatever. So they're really willing to invest time grooming them. And a lot of times, like we mentioned, that can kind of go on online. And so they're going to take that time. And so they have, maybe given them gifts, they have built up trust, they have given them love, they fulfilled those needs. So there's these really psychological chains that have been built. And so the child or the individual that has become a victim, they're going to likely not even really know that they're a victim. I feel like that's something that we've really run into, is something like they're not always going to be ready to leave or ready to say, please help me. It's something where they think, well, this is my boyfriend and it's not that bad and he doesn't hit me all the time. Like by the time that they're kind of brainwashed into it, it's kind of like with any kind of domestic abuse situation, like on the outside, you're like, whoa, why are you not leaving? But it's that same complexity, like, well, he pays for my kids to eat,
you're stuck, you're trapped.
You're stuck. And maybe they have something of value. Like I have all of your identification. I have your phone. Like it's always that control. So again, like we always want to kind of be aware of like the word rescue, but I will tell you that we have had impact. And a lot of that is really just because we really always want to be speaking value and worth. Like that's something that we want to educate, but we also have a survivor advocate that's on our staff. And so she is able to connect with victims when we get calls and when when law enforcement is like, hey, we have somebody here. And as a result of training that we've done. And so we, some of the things, that we've even had happen. We had a woman last year who we actually It's a crazy story because I think we ran into her like on the side of the road or some crazy circumstances. It's crazy in this line of work what happens. And as we worked with her and as we offered her, so basically we, some of the donations that we receive, we have hygiene items, we have clothing just on hand. We also, and I'll kind of get to this at the end, but like gift cards are really great if anyone ever wants to donate gift cards to us, because then we can actually go and purchase clothing that the victim can kind of pick out themselves, and it's more personal to them. Yeah, and so one woman who we helped, she was just bawling, and she was, it's interesting, she was actually working, I believe, at a restaurant or something, but she was also like, I think, giving the money to her trafficker, and she was also having to perform sexual acts. So it's like labor and sex trafficking connected. But one of the things that she said to us is she said, I know I've felt love before, but I don't remember feeling it like this before.
Wow.
Yeah. And to me, that's huge. I mean, even to be able to walk alongside someone in that and to just be that sort of like port in the storm that's able to just say like, hey, we see you and you do have value regardless of, what has been told to you. And so we don't call it a rescue, but we call it impact. And, another girl that we helped, she came into our office sobbing and just upset, and she'd been assaulted that weekend. It was her birthday. She got assaulted that weekend. And so, again, it's just those little steps. All we could really do was we gave her food, we gave her clothing, we we were able to give her gas money to get to her next destination. And I swear, like, her countenance when she came completely changed. Like, she was no longer sobbing and hysterical. She had organized her belongings. Like, just having a place, to be really helped her. And again, like, many of these women are not, out of the life, but
right.
They can look back and think, somebody did tell me that I had worth. One story that I really like to tell, and Emily, I told this at the women's conference, was a woman that I really have formed a relationship with who had been actually a child bride. Like, she was sold at age 12 in marriage, right? And now she's basically, because of that life, that she was sold into, she actually started to, sell drugs. Like, that was sort of like that was all she really knew. She didn't really get an education, and that was all she learned to do. And then she was just we were both so frustrated. And I remember coming into the office, like, trying to figure out what we were going to do. And I did like just give it to God, and I just like prayed over it. And then I called her on the phone, and she's like, did you come up with anything? And I was like, no. And we were both just really upset. And then I had this kind of thought, and I said, I wonder if someone who she used to sell drugs with is trying to get her back into the game. Like, that's very common, is like, it's really hard to like leave that life because you have people like, hey, like, come on back, like, look at all the money that I'm making. So she did. And I said that to her, and she actually had pictures like of her friend who was telling her like, I have this new Mercedes, all this stuff. And I mean, how tempting would that be? Like, if you're just trying to struggle to like get anything to work. And so then all I said to her was, you're so much more than a drug dealer. I'm like, you're just worth so much more than that. And you're so smart. And she like broke down, and she was like, no one's ever said that to me. And like, that always gets me, because like, I don't even think we realize like the impact that we could have just by saying like, you're worth more than that, really helped her. And she did not go back to selling drugs. Like, she, that stopped her from going. And because I asked her later, I said, what, I'm really proud of you. You didn't do that. And I was like, what happened? What made a difference? And she said, like, our conversation. She's like, no one's ever said that to me. And so that this seems like a huge, huge problem, but I'm telling you, like, from experience, like, we have no idea the impact that we can have by just like having a conversation, speaking worth, speaking love. And that's something that we really try to inject into our victim programming that we have going on. We're going to be having like one meal a month, coming up, a yoga session once a month. for survivors to just come and be. And so we're going to have creating those opportunities for survivors to come in, or for victims. Maybe they're not ready at all. Maybe they're like going to be in it for a couple more years, but that's okay. Like, we're not going to judge them. We're going to allow them the space to just be, and to say, we care about you and there's no strings attached. We just love you, period. And I think that really is something they probably have never heard before or experienced. And I think that is transformative for them. So, anyway, so that's the impact that we're able to have. And so with that, like, we, going into that, we do rely on the donations of people that continue to allow us to do this. And so one way that people can give is even, we have a wish list that we created on Amazon. And, like I mentioned, gift cards are really good with that, so that victims can go pick out something that they really love. Lots of them don't even have a toothbrush. Like, a lot of them are just basically homeless and they're coming in, and so we're able to give them that gift, and it gives them, that empowerment. So again, like, we'll link those below, but the Amazon wish list, we're actually kind of adopting or supporting a family of a child that was exploited. And so we have gifts that you can actually give that gift directly that they've kind of picked out, if people want to kind of give that tangible gift. But again, we rely on sponsors. And so even if you want to give like 25 a month or 10 a month or whatever, like, one victim placement we had this summer was around $1,000, just because we had to pay for hotel and like getting her where she needed to be, because COVID is just like the worst. And so we had to wait. Yeah, seriously. I'm so ready for, anyway, the next chapter. But it complicates things. And so we have to, that's part of the cost of it, is just like waiting to get the COVID test. And so anyway, so even like, if you give 25 a month and 3 other people, that's $100 a month, every month, that, and that actually makes, when we are like applying for grants, that actually looks really good when we get monthly sponsors. So even if you're doing year-end giving and you're just like, hey, like, this is something that really does have an impact, because it really does, and it allows us to continue the work we're doing, and to actually reach more victims, because right now, like, we don't really have housing options for them. We sort of have to figure it out, and there are those costs that just kind of come up with victims. And so we just want to expand it even more, and we never want to have to turn anybody away. Like, we would love to just always be able to take new people on, and to assist them in their journey of healing. So, again, maybe your piece of this isn't necessarily doing what I do at an anti-trafficking organization, but it could be supporting it, or even just talking to your kids and just having those conversations, signing up for Fierce Parenting, just to kind of get those like educational videos fresh in your mind every week, those little bites that are manageable, that are going to empower you to have those conversations. Because I guarantee you, if you start having those conversations earlier than you think, that's really going to have an impact in your children, and they're not going to be naive, and they're not going to be looking for that love and that acceptance. It's definitely going to give them a lot more tools, and it's definitely going to help prevent that, like giving those strategies that is going to help prevent the sexual grooming that's going to happen online. So, and I always like to kind of give this quote too, William Wilberforce said, "You can look the other way, but you can never say again that you did not know." So that's a choice that you have. Personally, I started doing this work, and like I said, once I started learning about it, I couldn't look the other way. And so now I'm able to advocate for other people who maybe don't have that voice. And so I just want to say thank you, Emily, for being able to give me this platform to talk about it. And I really hope that everybody listening will just take a piece of this, like take a piece of something away, and just join us in the fight against human trafficking.
Awesome. Cat, thank you. There's so much that I would go if, there's so many things that I would be.
Yeah.
Just was it? Ugh. Okay. So I am so grateful. So everything that she's talking about, you guys, below in the comments, I'm going to have links to everything that she's talking about. I love the Fierce Parenting, so we're going to have access to that. The different things that she's discussing, especially the donating, because everything that we're doing with these guests, that's all everyone's volunteering.
Mhm.
Everything that has been done, any advertising, anything that's been done all the way across the board has been literally volunteered and given as a gift
Awesome.
to everyone that would watch,
Mhm.
because we want to get Christmas back. So there's not any money spent.
That's awesome.
Well, besides, well, I purchased a few things.
The hats, the
Well,
prizes, but
just a couple of things in my poor husband. But anyway, but I'm just saying it's giving back, and and just being able to do something with people and partner with people.
Mhm.
My heart is hungry for it and giving back. So, and when wanting to partner with you,
Mhm.
it was my knee jerk. So
Mhm.
contacting and finding you, and when I found you, you're rolling around miserable with COVID at the time.
I did have
Oh,
COVID.
oh, you
Would
poor
not
baby. And
recommend.
it was just like, how in the world, and I don't know how, but at the end of every single one of our concerts, we're going to make sure that we have links to Fierce Freedom. We want to have
Mm,
conversation about it. We want you to have reference point to
mm,
this specific interview, because this is information, and information is power, and
mhm,
we can't turn away. And some of us can't really do anything about this physically, especially in COVID. But
mhm,
I swear to you, your money goes towards people who do, and
mhm,
your money goes towards people who have the exact information, and they're going to give you things that are going to empower you and your family and your children and your sister's family and
mhm.
your friend's family. And boy, thank you for that. um, I,
Oh,
we're living in a day and age where information is coming at us nonstop, and but the world is still spinning around us.
mhm.
We have to pay attention. So, like I said, everything's going to be down in the comments
Great.
below. So, thank you, Kat.
Thank you, Emily.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much.
Thank you, Kat. Thank you, Fierce Freedom, for joining us today. And thank you, all of you, for watching and for listening.
Yeah.
It really is important stuff. It's kind of besides giving to you.
Mhm,
It Man, it's one of the main reasons why I would even want to do something like this.
mm,
Literally giving you the privilege to just invest in this organization so that they can continue to have everything that they need to
mhm.
continue to just do amazing things. I would love their footprint to get even bigger. The Bible talks about tent stakes,
Yeah.
pulling them out of the ground and really getting them stretched so that they could
Yeah,
have more of an influence, more of an impact. They can dream bigger. Their
absolutely.
vision casting can go even farther, and that starts with us paying attention. It's not hard to
Thank
do.
you.
All right, so I just wanted to say thank you again for that, because
Thank
this
you.
unbelievable organization is doing unbelievable things in unbelievable situations. So we just want
Mm.
to support that. So until then, we'll just have to muddle through somehow. Oh, the earrings, because we need a little Christmas right this
Right this
very minute.
minute.
So may your days be merry and bright and be good for goodness.
Merry
You take
Christmas.
care. Merry Christmas, Kat.
Thank you.
You be
Bye.
good, for
You
goodness sake,
too.
and get
I'll
engaged.
try. I'm trying. You tell him, jeez.
For the love.